Good morning. അപ്പോൾ ഞാനിന്ന് വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത് ബെക്ലി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു സ്ഥലത്താണ്. ഇവിടെ എന്താ വരാൻ കാരണം എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇത് വെസ്റ്റ് വിർജീനിയയിലെ ഒരു പഴയ മൈനിങ് ടൗണാണ്. ഇപ്പോൾ ഇത് എഴുതിയേക്കണുണ്ടോ, ഇവിടുത്തെ ഫസ്റ്റ് മൈൻ 1891 ഓപ്പൺ ചെയ്തതാണ്. ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ പോകാൻ പോകുന്നത് പണ്ടത്തെ ഒരു ഓപ്പറേറ്റിംഗ് മൈനായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പോൾ അതൊരു എക്സിബിഷൻ മൈനാണ്. വർഷങ്ങളായിട്ട് ഇവിടെ കണ്ട 792 മില്യൺ ടൺസ് ഓഫ് കോൾ ഉൽപ്പാദിപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് 1891 മുതൽ 1991 മുതൽ. അപ്പോൾ അതായത് ഒരു 100 വർഷത്തിനകം 15,000 ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് 14,000 ആൾക്കാർക്ക് എംപ്ലോയ്മെൻറ്റ് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ടെന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ അതൊന്ന് കാണാം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് വന്നതാണ് നമ്മൾ. അപ്പോൾ അതാണ് ആ ബിൽഡിങ്. എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് പരിപാടി എന്ന് നമുക്ക് അകത്ത് പോയിട്ട് നോക്കാം. കണ്ടിട്ട് കോള് പോലെ തന്നെയാണ്. ഇവിടെ ഒരു മനുഷ്യനെ കാണുന്നില്ല. എനിക്കാണ് പഴയ സ്ഥലങ്ങളൊക്കെ ആൾക്കാരൊക്കെ മറന്നു തുടങ്ങി.
I'll be your tour guide. My name is Eddie. Before we go underground, we have to go over some safety rules. While we're traveling, please stay seated. If you raise up, you catch a hoverboard, it's going to do two things for you, I can guarantee. All right, you ready to go?
Yup.
Everybody okay underground?
Yep.
Okay. Now, in 1890, when this mine's opened, it was owned by the Phillips family. When you go underground, you need a few things. First one, you need a way of checking your air. Next, you need some tools. The next thing you need, the most important, is you need a way to see.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the first miner's lamps.
Wow.
It's called a teapot.
Wow.
It holds coal oil. It has a wick. It's classified as an open flame light and is highly illegal in the mines today. At that time, it was the main tool of the fire boss. You see, the fire boss even today is the first man in the mines. Nobody comes in until he comes out and says everything's okay. He checks the general conditions of the mines. He's also looking for a couple of other things. One of the first things he's going to be looking for is black damp. Black damp is a coal miner's way of saying oxygen deficient air. Heavier than air with oxygen in it, it will fall to the floor and build itself up. As it comes up with black damp, 12% black damp, and you'll pass out. Below 12%, death will occur. Next thing he's going to be looking for is methane. Methane's a gas. Lighter than air, it rises to the top, and as it builds up, it moves down. At 5% methane, add oxygen, add an open flame, and you now have a violent explosion. When this man comes through, he's going to take this little lamp, along with trying to see, he's going to hold it down here about his waist and start up. What he's going to do is watch this flame. If this flame grows weak, flickers, tries to go out, he needs to back out of here. He's got black damp. He needs more air in this mines, in this part. Next thing he's going to do, while he's looking for black damp, he's also going to take his little lamp and he's going to burn off little pockets of methane. If he's misread the situation, there should be a loud explosion. When we come in to see what's happened, he should be laying there in some form. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the average miner, this is good for 1 hour. In a 12-hour shift, you'll load this in the dark a minimum of 12 times. The miners wanted something that lasted a little longer than that. So somebody come up with a stinky little rock. And they called it carbide. Now when you add water to carbide, you get acetylene gas. Well,
Oh, wow.
are we ready?
Oh my
This is
goodness.
what your 12-hour shift's going to look like. Now during that time, ladies and gentlemen, you must open the top like I did and put water in it, because see, your flame's going to go out. You must unscrew the bottom. Dump all the old carbide out because it turns to powder. Put new granulated carbide in it. And this is what it's going to look like while you're doing it.
Oh my
Don't look for
goodness.
your buddy on the section to hold a lamp for you, because you see, this mine is a one-man, one-section mine. Don't look for the boss. He's probably 2 breakthroughs up from you trying to get his own lamp lit.
Amazing.
Y'all didn't know us coal miners could see in the dark, did you? You thought just cats could.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
That's why I got to hang over the door.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, unlike those old miners, us new miners have these newfangled little toys to play with. This is a methane detector. You'll push your button, hold it up here, and it'll give you a reading of how much methane you got. Now, when I'm far bossing to run the section, or even run a piece of equipment, I prefer 0% methane. I will take all the way up to 1.5%. You see, our new equipment nowadays has a little sophisticated deal like this, that it'll kick the power off on that piece of equipment when it hits 2%. Keeps us miners from blowing ourselves up.
Wow.
Now, the old miners, to check their air, didn't have all those newfangled toys. So they carried this little bird around, called a canary. They'd bring him in, set him down on the floor. A lot of them put a post up and set him up on the post, so he was eye level. As long as he's up moving around, everything's fine and dandy. But if he gets quiet, you look over and he's laying down, ladies and gentlemen, he's dead, just like mine is. And if you don't start moving to fresh air, you're going to be laying beside him and be just as dead as he is. And oh yes, if you kill your bird and the black damp don't get you, before you come back to work, come to the company store and buy a new bird. We keep an ample supply of it.
Wow.
Wow.
Because you will need it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this company is a people company. We think the world of our employees. So when we give you a job, we only ask a couple of requirements. 1, you'll give us a 12-hour shift, minimum. 2, you will produce us in that 12 hours 10 of these 1-ton cards.
10.
10.
My goodness.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
for each one of those cards, I will give you 20 cents.
Oh my
I
goodness.
know it's a lot of money, but hey, we're generous people. Now, when that car goes outside and is weighed by the weighmaster, you must pay, not me. And depending on the mines, the weighmaster will charge between 2 and 5 cents per car per day.
Easy.
Now, if you don't have your 3 ton very many days in a row, you won't have a job. And the day you lose your job, you lose your house. And you and your family will be out bright and early the next morning, because there'll be a crew there to set you and your family out.
Wow.
Now, the new miners, as well as the old ones, have a check number. No 2 miners will have the same number. The mines I worked at, depending on how you turned this tag, told them whether I was underground or if I was outside or home. The old miners didn't do that. They would take and load their car, tag their car, push the car out here for the crew with the horses to come through and pick up and take outside. If that car's sitting outside, there's nobody watching. Somebody comes through, sees nobody looking, hooks your tag, throws it away, and puts yours on. No, they're getting paid for your time and your work.
Oh my goodness.
As a company, I don't care who gives me the coal, as long as I've got the coal to sell. Now, this man come through, he got tired of being shorted. He cut him off a 2 before, laid the tag down, drove a nail in it, throws it in the bottom of that empty car and puts his coal on top of it. Now, it looks like he's outsmarted a criminal, doesn't it? But you see, you don't always work with them. Sometimes you work for them. You see this number 2, this 2-ton car right here? You see that brown and gray stuff? That's rock. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you, we don't mine rock in this mine. If you mine rock, you come in on your day off, which is usually Sunday, or at the end of your shift. You will load that car full of the rock you have mined. You will see that it gets outside and you will unload that car. Now, we do not pay you for unloading that car. That's just work that has to be done, and you will do it. If, for some reason, that rock makes it to the weighmaster, he's going to do something that's going to endear you to him for life. He's going to penalize you and take 1 whole ton of that 2-ton car. Now you've mined 2 tons of coal, but you're only gonna get paid for what?
Oh, really?
Now, as a company, you see, I could care less. Because I've got 5 to 8 year old kids in a dusty little building outside, picking that dirty old rock out of that coal, making me clean coal to sell. At 8 to 12, you can come underground, scale the top, set timber, shovel loose coal. Or you can drive a team of horses. The problem with that driving the team of horses is, you see, I think more of that horse than I do of you. Reason being, I don't have anything invested in you. I've got 5 men standing outside their drift mouth waiting for your job, and they don't care how they get it. That horse, I paid $50, $75 for it. And I'm going to bring him underground, and then I'm going to go with him for the next 30 days or better, training to pull a load underground with a little tiny light, because you see horses don't work in the dark very well unless they're trained. If you hurt my horse, you've lost your job. It's that simple. Now, at 12 years old, you can come underground, your dad can train you to be a coal miner. He can take you into that 28-inch seam of coal right there. And he can train you to be a coal miner. Now, you don't get paid. You just get, your dad will just get the extra coal that you help him mine. And your dad tells the boss, he gets qualified. To be a qualified miner, you must be able to check your top, check your air, measure saw, set timbers, pick the coal out from under that rock without that mountain setting down on you. Most of the time you would not be lucky enough to run that seam over there. That seam over there is 36 inches. If you're young and flexible, you can duck walk in that seam. This one you're going to be on your stomach for 12 hours. When your dad tells the boss you're qualified, he will take you from your dad's loving arms, and he will take you to another part of this mines, where at 12 years old you will open up your own one-man section. And now we think the world of kids, so here's what we do for them. They're going to give me a 12-hour shift, and they're going to give me 10 of these 1-ton cars. And for each one of them 1-ton cars, I'll give them 20 cents. This mine, to give you an idea, some say it was 7 miles, some say it was 15 miles, some say it went all around the city of Beckley.
This mile? This?
Mine.
Oh, wow.
So this mine is bigger than it actually looks. Now, temperature in here today has been 58 degrees. That's bathing suit weather, ladies. You won't freeze to death in here, but you certainly won't burn up either. Oh, did they tell you outside you was going to be tested just to see how good a miner you were? Good. Now, I said a while ago we had black death. We need more air in this mines. How are we going to get more air in it? Remember, we have no electricity. So there's no fans on this mine. You see, this mine has what they call natural ventilation. Barometric pressure and wind determine how much air you get in here. But we need more air. So how would we do it? What?
Drill.
No. We're not going to drill. We don't have nothing out there to drill. This is before we brought drills underground, or in above ground. What we're going to do, when we came in out there in that cut rock, when we first came into the drift mouse, did any of you see a little hole out there? No? Oh, there's one check against you. You see that little hole out there is where you can take and build a fire in, and it will draw air through this mines like a chimney. All right. When we leave here and go to the other side, we're going to quit picking the coal out from under the rock. I'm going to show you what they had to do in order to get ready to shoot it down with black powder.
Where section like
You will pick up this 4-foot drill. You will place it against the coal, put your breastplate on, and while laying on this nice dry ground, you will drill into this seam. You will make 3 holes, one on each side, one in the center. While laying there, you will pick up your pick. You'll make the undercut under the coal. Now, the reason for the undercut is so when you shoot it, it will fall cleanly down from the top without busting up much of the rock. The next thing you're going to do, you're going to take your paper, pour your black powder in it, twist it into a stick, place it in the hole. Then you'll pick up your tamping rod. This is brass, so there's no spark to set the black powder off. Tamp the powder in good and tight. Pack the hole with mud. Tamp it in good and tight. Then you'll pick up your pick. Place it in the groove and put it in the hole and shove the hole back into the black powder. Pull it back, put your fuse on and shove it into the black powder. Now ladies and gentlemen, once you've done that, you want to take your fuses and tie them together and come out here about 12 feet. Then you're going to stop. You see, before you do anything else, you got to let the other miners know working around you that you're going to put a shot off. So you'll go, fire, fire, fire in the hole. Everybody hears that, knows what you're going to do. So they'll be prepared. Should you set that shot off and hit a pocket of methane, you now have a mine explosion. They need to be prepared to try to get to safety or to the outside. You'll then take your lamp, light your fuse, crawl around to the side and wait for the shot to go off. You'll come in, you'll wait for the dust and the smoke to clear, check your air, check your top, set your safety timbers. Now, you'll bring your wooden rails in and lay them down, because back in 1890 we did not have steel rails underground yet. You'll push your 1-ton car up in here. You will then pick up this automatic loading machine called a number 4 coal shovel. And while laying on your stomach, you will load that 1-ton car full. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as a company, your number 4 shovels made me a lot of money. You see, you buy that shovel, not me. But I want more coal, and I want more money. So here's what we're going to do. This yellow piece back there has Marvin sitting on it back there in the back. That's called a loading machine. It was built by Jeffrey Machinery. In the 1930s, they come by and they told us that we got something here will mine you a lot of coal. So we bought it. So we brought all the men together and said, gentlemen, here's what we're going to do. We bought this piece of equipment. We're going to train you to run it. It's going to make us a lot of money. It's going to make you money, because you see what we want to do is we're going to take you off that old 12-hour shift. We're going to put you down on a 10-hour shift. That gives you 2 more hours with your family. Isn't that fantastic? The next thing we're going to do, you've been on that old tonnage rate. You haven't been making any money on that. So we're going to take you off that and put you on a new rate. We're going to pay you for every minute you're in the face. We're going to pay you 25 cents an hour. Now that's $2.50 a day. That doesn't sound like a whole lot. But you know, in 1974, when I went to work, the union just got a raise, and they was making $50 a day, depending on what piece of equipment you run. Now, I've had people tell me, that's not much money, but you know, federal minimum wage back then was $1.60 an hour. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out where you'll make your money if you're willing to take a risk. That doesn't. 1963, Bill Drumheller from here in Beckley did the first coal scoop. That's this big orange thing right here. He bought a truck, took it home to his garage, took the rear end transmission out of it, built this metal frame around it. He used electric motors and hydraulic cylinders. Today we use them things to haul coal, clean up the entries, haul supplies on the section. I have hauled men in and out of the mines in them. His problem was he didn't get a patent for it. He and his family lost millions upon millions of dollars, because now everybody and their mother makes one of those things. Any questions?
So with this new thing, how do you weigh your 1 ton? No more of those.
Well, we know 1 more ton. Okay. I'm going to pay you by the hour.
Okay.
See, I told you wasn't going to make any money. Now, truth is, you're still not going to make any money. I'm going to make all the money. Because I'm only going to pay you once you get in the face and start to work. When you quit in the evening, I'm not paying you for the travel of in and out of the mines like you do nowadays. I'm only going to pay you while you're working. While you're crawling outside, that's your problem. Or if you're riding in a car, that's your problem. Any other questions?
Yeah, one more. When they blast it out, how do they make sure that it doesn't collapse?
That's what these things are for.
So they will put these props up?
Hold the top up. That's what they're doing now.
Okay.
See, in '62, when the town of Beckley obtained this mines, they came in, raised the height, because this right here wouldn't have been nowhere near as high as it is now. It had only been high enough for whatever animal was pulling the coal outside. Because they didn't care about you, just the animal. Then they came in, they raised the height, cleaned it up, set new cribs, bolted the top, set new timbers, laid new rails, got prepared to bring y'all underground and let you see what these old men went through. Any other questions? All right, we go down. Oh yes, one other thing. I told you we didn't mine rock, right? You'll notice this miner right here, he has mined some rock. So he stacked it neatly against the side. The reason being, you're in low coal, nowhere near this height. So you'll shove that one car up at the end of your shift, and he only has to crawl over on one side and load that whole car from. He doesn't have to crawl around this low seam. Because, ladies and gentlemen, most of these miners would only take the coal out from under the rock at the height the coal is. Otherwise, this free worker is going to kill you. Okay, let's go down to the next place.
Wow.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, in order for the company to make the money with that loading machine back there they want, they have to do a couple. They have to buy a couple other pieces of equipment. The first one is this Goodman cutting machine. It has a 12-foot bar and chain on it. Ladies and gentlemen, all that machine is going to do is make you undercut like he used that pick. Only he's going to do it 12 foot at a time. And he's going to do it as wide as that section is at entry. The next thing he's going to have is the drill operator. The bit on that drill is 12 feet long. 3 times longer than that man up there. He's going to drill one hole and be 3 times deeper. Excuse me. The next guy up will be your shot fire. Now you've cut it, drilled it, shot it down, in comes the loading machine, loads it out. From the time they start till the time he finishes, 45 minutes. And someone can do it quicker than that. You see why the company liked it? Money. Why I wanted to take you off the ton? Now, when this mine went underground, this is the way your bosses got around. It's called a rail scooter. They would bring it in, set it down on the rail, drop down on their knee, and just let the boss go in the mines and check on the men in the mines at his pace, and let him come back outside when he wanted to. Because he wasn't going to eat under here with you. It's wet and it's cold, and he wants you outside the office. Now, when electricity came underground, they quit using that. Made somebody above ground a millionaire several times over. You see, change the wheels and extend the handle. Let them be bought for your kids. They're called scooters. This is a great-great-granddad. I own 3 of them. Can't ride either one. I say it's because the wheels or the handle's not right. My kids say it's because I have no balance. At 37 years old, what do they know about balance yet? They can still stand on one foot and bathe. I do couldn't stand on both feet and hold on to the wall. You know how hard it is to scrub your back like this? Now, when I went underground, we'd already started bolting the top. This is a long air dox roof bolt that runs off electricity. This is your drill steel. It has a bit. It has carbide blades. You would drop it in the head, turn the machine on, raise it up, turn the head on, and it will drill up through this rock. Now, the reason you're drilling into that rock is because I want to take and anchor all that rock together. So I'm going to find a common solid point, and I'm going to take all this thin rock and hold it right up there, and it'll make it thicker and make it stronger. Well, somebody said, look, we have trouble finding anchor points sometimes because the rocks broke all to pieces. So they come up with this glue and hardener. You'll stick it right up in that hole. Right behind that, you'll take this fantastic little roof bolt with all these little grooves on it, shove it up against that stick, push it all the way to the top, bust that stick open. Now you'll spin it for 15 seconds. It's all mixed up and scattered out through the cracks. Push it up good and tight and hold it there for another 15 seconds, and it's all glued in. Everything over your head are glue bolts. Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. That'll never hold anything up. I guess a man can be wrong once in his life, can't he? Now, rock dust. Rock dust is pulverized limestone. Everything you see white on the coal and the rock on both sides, that is rock dust. This is a rock dust machine. You would dump your rock dust into that hopper. It has an electric motor and a blower, usually a long hose. Now, rock dust does a couple of things for you. First thing it is when you spray on this black, dirty old mines, it makes it so pretty and snowball white. Kind of reminds you of a white Christmas. The next thing it's going to do is you're drilling into that coal right there. You've got powder fine shards of coal coming out. It's really dry. You hit a pocket of methane, you have a spark, you now have a mine explosion. It will kick that dry coal up and it will ignite it just like that. Now what rock dust will do, it will not stop the explosion. But you put enough of that rock dust on that coal and it will keep that coal from igniting. Because if it blows up, ladies and gentlemen, and it's big enough, this empty right here will look like a rifle barrel. And if you're in it, it will wrap you around a timber and it will bake you like a potato in the process, and it will not take it all day. Kettle bottom, also known as widowmakers. A tree falls, for whatever reason it petrifies, turns to rock. It will always have a bell-shaped hole no matter how big it is. I've cut the coal out from under them, and within 45 seconds they're laying on the ground. Excuse me. Those things do not make a noise when they fall, till they hit the floor. If it's big enough, and you're standing under it, you're what we miners call history. We will be talking about you and not to you. And ladies and gentlemen, you've never seen anything till you go in and have to take some of that off of a frit. It is not usually a pretty sight. Now, the old miners carried one bucket. Unlike your new miners today, it carries a jug of water, a jug of coffee, and a lunch bucket that's about this long and about this high. What they carry in other than their clothes, I have no idea because they never had that much time to eat. You gentlemen pay close attention to this. This may save your marriage. This is the coal miner's pie pan. This is what his wife puts his dessert in. Gentlemen, if you get to section, you open up your bucket and that's empty, you have forgotten something very important. Her birthday, her wedding, her anniversary. I'll tell you now, if you forget her wedding, you're in hot water. Now, it goes downhill from right there. If I do nothing, if I was you, I'd be sure I took her out to dinner and told her she was a sweetheart for just waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, throwing me in my black dirty old clothes outside in the snow and my bucket right behind me, and as you go back to bed, say, honey, I love you, I'll see you 8 o'clock tonight. What other woman would do that? This is his lunch bucket. This is where she puts his his brown beans, fried potatoes, cornbread, if he's lucky, a chicken leg. Or he may just have West Virginia coal miner steak, bologna sandwiches. Gentlemen, if that's empty, don't get in no hurry going home tonight, because your pots are going to be cold, your house is going to be dark, and she ain't going to be there. And this is your water, approximately 1 gallon, to do you for 12 hours plus. You never drink all your water while you're underground, and you never eat all your food. I'm sure some of you remembered somebody saying Dad brought home a piece of cake or a sandwich that he hadn't eaten in the mines. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason for that. You see, if I get trapped and I can't get outside, whatever I've got in this bucket is what I've got to live on for the next 5 to 7 days, because after that, it's going to be iffy whether you're still here. This gentleman got tired of people drinking his water while he was up in the face working.
Oh, gee.
Now, I don't know about you all, but this man's got no have to worry about me drinking his water. You see, I'm particular about what floats around in my drinking water that I haven't put in there myself. Now, if something should happen, and that man and I are the only ones in this mine and we get trapped, and he's the only one with water, guess what? He just became my new best buddy. I don't care if he has frog eggs in it. I will drink it. Now, this says a dinner hole. Ladies and gentlemen, I never ate in a dinner hole like that. I call that a notch. My dinner holes was a breakthrough. A breakthrough is a shortcut between 2 entries. Usually on the section, it's at the end of the track where the supply crews will drop off all your supplies. This is where me and most of the crew will sit and eat. This is where we'll leave our buckets and our water. Reason being, should something happen in the face or back here behind us, All those of us that can is going to come back to right here. And this is where we're going to make our supplies or make our plans to get ourselves out alive. The next thing is we're going to do a head count and make sure we're all here. Now, I know you've heard them talk about miners sealing themselves in. Ladies and gentlemen, you do that with a sad heart, and you do it very, very sober. Because the reason being, you don't know whether you'll see your family alive again. You see, once you cut this out, you must find an opening, an entry with only one opening, because you'll never have enough supplies to close off two openings. You'll take whatever men you have left, and you'll close this off, seal it tight. You will take whatever supplies you've got, and you'll make it airtight. Usually we have cement on the sections anymore. Once you seal you and the men in, what air you have in that hole is all you have. You do not open it back up no matter what. Someone from the outside has got to get to you and open that seal. That's the only way you know this air is not poisonous anymore, and you can breathe it and live. If you open that seal too soon, it will kill every man and woman on that section, and it does not care which you are. You'll lay right beside your best friend and die. Any questions? Any answers? I got questions.
You mentioned men and women. Were women working?
When the mines opened like this one did, it was not rare to see the whole family in here. Dad would dig the coal, Mom and the kids would drag the coal over, load the car, take the car, and push it out to be picked up by the horses.
Nice.
Then, at what year, I don't remember what it was, but when the federal government came in and said, hey, you can't work them kids. They have to go to school till they're 16 years old. Now, believe me, that didn't happen. But Mom went out of the mines at that time. Late 60s, early 70s, women started coming back in, and they started becoming certified miners. Now, there's just as good a workers as some of the men we have in these sections. But they're also just as lazy as some of the men we have on these sections. Either one is not worth the powder to blow their brains out with. And I'm talking about one of them little tiny primers out of a shot shell. So it goes to tell you what I think of them as a boss. Nope, women are fine. I've worked with a lot of them, and they're just as good at working and running a piece of equipment as some of these men are. But again, there's some of them that's just as lazy as some of the men we have in there. Any questions?
Thank you.
How many people run a mine? I mean, is there?
Well, it will depend on the mine. This mine right here, I'm told, probably the top of that they had was 25. The mines I worked in, we had probably 350 men.
Ooh.
We had 3 shifts, and we had 4 sections.
Do you know how many miners West Virginia has lost?
Oh, no. I don't really have an idea how many of them is. You might be able to find it on the internet.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have any idea. This mine here, my understanding is there's only 3 men died in this one. One was the owner's brother. The other 2 we're not sure who they are, and this has just been handed down, so that could be sketchy too. Now, I'll give you something on me. I am not a low vein miner. Low vein means low coal. I like high coal. Low vein makes my knees sore, and these roof bolts cuts my back open like a knife. I found out years ago, and for what reason I don't know, I cannot crawl near as fast as I can stand up and run. And I've had top falling that I thought if I missed a half a step, my hip pockets were going to be full of rock. But I have come back after everything's settled and looked, and in the rock dust you can't find no tracks. So either 1, the air blowed me out, or 2, I was actually running so fast I was flying. I'm not really sure which it is, but the rock's still laid on the ground and I'm still standing upright. I do know this. I think my legs grow 3 times longer than they are. Because when I get scared, I can take longer steps and cover more territory than I ever dreamed about. Thank you all. I hope you enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
താഴെ നിന്നാണോ അപ്പം നമ്മൾ അണ്ടർഗ്രൗണ്ട് ടൂർ കഴിഞ്ഞു. അപ്പോൾ എങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു നമ്മുടെ ബെക്ലി പര്യടനം? അടിപൊളിയായിരുന്നു. എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടു. ബിക്കോസ് പഴയകാലത്തെ ആൾക്കാരെങ്ങനെയാണ് ജീവിച്ചിരുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളതും ഈ കോൾ മൈനേഴ്സിൻ്റെ ആ ഹിസ്റ്ററി അത് ഭയങ്കര അമേസിങ് ആണ്. എന്തോരം സ്ട്രഗിൾ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടല്ലോ ഇവർ. 20 cents പെർ ഡേക്കൊക്കെയാണ് വർക്ക് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നതെന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. അതും ഈ കോൾ കമ്പനിക്കാർ pretty much എക്സ്പ്ലോയിറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ആൾക്കാരാണ്. പക്ഷേ അറ്റ് ദ സെയിം ടൈം മറ്റേദ്ദേഹം പറഞ്ഞത് അദ്ദേഹം ഫൈനലി ജോലിക്ക് 1974 കയറുമ്പോൾ പെർ ഡേ $50 കിട്ടുമായിരുന്നു എന്നാണ്. ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് വാസ് വെൻ ഫെഡറൽ മിനിമം വേജ് വാസ് $70. അപ്പോൾ ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി ദേ വർ ഗെറ്റിംഗ് പെയ്ഡ് വെൽ. പക്ഷേ ദ ലൈഫ് വാസ് റിയലി ഹാർഡ്. അപ്പോൾ ഐ എം റിയലി ഗ്ലാഡ് നമുക്ക് ഇവിടെ വരാൻ പറ്റിയതിൽ. നിങ്ങൾ ആരെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ഈ സൈഡിൽ കൂടെയൊക്കെ വരുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഐ തിങ്ക് ഇറ്റ്സ് വർത്ത് എ വിസിറ്റ്. അങ്ങനെ ഒത്തിരി സമയമൊന്നും വേണ്ട. മേ ബി അബൌട്ട് couple of hours. അപ്പോൾ ശരി, ബൈ ബൈ.